No, Cinder and Redacted did not manipulate Nano, and I'm going to try to sell you this narrative. This video is going to have chapters, and everything I'll be covering in the video has already been covered by some big dramatuber out there. I just want to bring attention to the point that Cinder and Redacted did not manipulate Nano. Now, this is going to be a biased take because I'll be injecting my own personal interpretation of manipulation. So, before we get into it, what is manipulation? I asked Google that. Google states, manipulation refers to the act of influencing or controlling someone or a situation, often in a clever, unfair, or selfish way, to serve one's own purposes. It involves using deceptive tactics or exploiting vulnerabilities to achieve a desired outcome, sometimes at the expense of the manipulated person's well-being or autonomy. Google AI goes more in-depth detail about it, bringing up persuasion, stating, distinguishing manipulation from persuasion. While both manipulation and persuasion involve influencing others, persuasion is a more open and honest process that respects the other person's autonomy in decision-making. Manipulation, on the other hand, often involves deception, coercion, and exploitation. Now, after I saw this, I decided to ask Google, what are some examples of manipulation? And here's what it gave me. It gave me verbal manipulation, lying, guilt-tripping, emotional blackmail, gaslighting, playing the victim, triangulation, selective attention, inattention, rationalization, blame-shifting. Behavioral manipulation, withholding information, setting defaults, isolation, veiled threats, controlling communication, and burying bad news. So, I decided to ask Google, what's persuasion? Since in the first Google prompt, it mentions persuasion. And here's what Google said. Persuasion is the process of influencing someone's thoughts, beliefs, or actions through communication. It involves using arguments, appeals, or other strategies to convince another person to adopt a specific viewpoint or behavior. Essentially, persuasion aims to change someone's mind or motivate them to take a desired action. So, there is a difference between manipulation and persuasion. Manipulation is influencing or controlling someone for your own selfish gain. Persuasion is trying to convince someone of a certain idea. Now that we've established what the difference is between manipulation and persuasion, and established what types of manipulation exist, let's go ahead and dive into Nano's Google Doc, which she posted on X on April 26th, 2025. So, for the purpose of selling the narrative, Cinder and Redacted didn't manipulate Nano, we're going to focus mainly on the screenshots in this doc. So we will fast forward to the section Slandering Other Creators. Here, there are 3 screenshots to support the allegation that Cinder and Redacted are slandering other creators. These are screenshots of Nano and Redacted's convo on January 15th, 2025. Essentially, it's just Redacted venting to Nano about Bao, but I want to bring attention to the first screenshot that you are seeing on the screen right now. Apparently, there could be some potential evidence manipulation because Bao uses the same screenshot with one difference. There is a sentence there that wasn't in Nano's. So if you want to see the full screenshot, go to Bao's doc. So, as you can see, these are all screenshots of a convo between Redacted and Nano on January 15th, 2025. Moving on, we go back in time to August 5th, 2024, and this screenshot is to support the allegation that Red asked Nano to cancel Bao's model mid-progress, which is blatantly false, because nowhere in the screenshot does Redacted tell Nano to cancel Bao's model mid-progress, but I will bring attention to what Nano says at 4:17 p.m., stating, I'm scared to cancel with Bao, and then Redacted replying, you shouldn't be, she has so many connections, she'll find someone super fast. Now, at first glance, that could be considered manipulation. So, I asked Google, hey, is encouraging someone to cancel a model considered manipulation? And here's what Google had to say. No, Simply encouraging someone to cancel something does not automatically equate to manipulation. However, the context and intent behind the encouragement are crucial in determining whether it is manipulative. Now that we've established that, let's go back to the screenshot. Since there's no evidence showing that Redacted encouraged Nano to cancel Bao's model out of selfish intent, I'm going to chalk that up to encouragement unless some additional evidence comes forth. Moving on to the section Exclusivity and Blacklisting Other Creators. Now here, Nano provides screenshots to support the claim that Sinder and Redacted are trying to strike an exclusivity deal with her, as well as setting up a blacklist with other creators, which, by the way, is blatantly false because the screenshots only support evidence of an exclusivity deal, as shown here. Redacted stating on January 15th, 2025, I mean, like, if you wanted to have some kind of model exclusivity, what would you need to make that sustainable for you? And Nano and Redacted bounce back and forth regarding the exclusivity deal. And then there's another screenshot with more information regarding the exclusivity deal, but if you look at the end of the screenshot, you can see that Nano's message is cut off. Now, here's the funny thing. It's not cut off in Bao's doc. And in the uncut version of that screenshot, you can see Nano blatantly admitting that it's fair. So, that's not manipulation. Because remember, exclusivity deals require the consent of both parties. And since Nano found it fair, there's the potential that the exclusivity deal could go through with consent. That's not manipulation. That's trying to persuade the artist to agree to the exclusivity deal that Redacted has put forth. Moving on, we see screenshots of Redacted talking to Nano regarding Shylily, and these screenshots are taken of a convo between Redacted and Nano on April 12th, 2025. And these screenshots go for a while, and it's just Redacted talking to Nano about Lily and making claims and stating his own opinion of affairs regarding Shylily. And it keeps going until this screenshot here, which is a screenshot of Nano and Sinder talking to each other on February 11th, 2025. Here, these screenshots support the claim that Nano states about wanting to push back and make clear that she was uncomfortable and being dragged into drama. Now, if you focus into the screenshot, Nano blatantly says, Sinder just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the exclusivity deal. So, it didn't go through. Sinder replies, I get it, Nano, and it was unfair to push this on you. Sinder is understanding and admits that it was unfair. And then Sinder and Nano have a one-on-one about Sinder's insecurities, about her being compared to Silvervale. Heck, Nano even points out, I don't really see the point of thinking about being compared to Silvervale. You're so much bigger already. You've done so much more. So Nano is reassuring and comforting Sinder. Now, in the next screenshot, you can see Sinder stating, I want you to get that money. This is Sinder encouraging Nano. Nano replies, I understand if things don't work out about this, it would be mostly if you hate me for not burning silver down from my list. So Nano is showing concern and vulnerability, and Sinder reassures her by stating, I would never hate you. Nano does the same. Thank you and same. So they're talking to each other, they're showing understanding, they're reassuring each other. That's what these screenshots show. Then after that, we go back in time 2 years to November 26th, 2023. Now, this screenshot here is to support the allegation that Redacted 100% reflects Sinder's intentions and feelings. In this screenshot here, Nano and Sinder are talking, and Nano is asking for clarification on Red's statement that he made on November 17th, 2023, 10:59 p.m., which is shown in the screenshot, inside the screenshot here, at 5:43 p.m. Sinder's reply to all this is, I understand what Redacted means, but at the end of the day, it's just business, so Cinder understands where Redacted's coming from. That's essentially what she's implying there. But then follows it up by stating, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason for you to help grow and not because you don't like me. Cinder is showing understanding, and it almost seems as if Cinder's supporting Nano in pursuing her own interests. Heck, she even tries to work it out with Nano, stating, I can have Red send you a list of our plans for the future and estimated due dates, so just let us know what you actually want to work on. That way, I have time to look for someone else if you don't have time for my projects or don't want to do them. It feels special to only have your model art for all my outfits, but just let me know if you don't have time for me to be an exclusive Nano art baby anymore. So she's willing to work with Nano's schedule, willing to work with Nano's projects whatsoever, and encouraging her. And then Nano states, I told Red that even though I have my other works, we'll always have a way to get you a priority spot when possible. You will always be my special baby. Nano reassures Cinder. And then Cinder replies back saying, I also think it's important for you to work on projects that you're excited about. That sentence right there shows that Cinder is encouraging Nano to pursue her own interests. Cinder is essentially giving Nano a choice here, which is a characteristic of Persuasion, a choice to follow her own interests or to work with Cinder. Now, we move forward to the next screenshot, which apparently is a screenshot of a convo that happened the day before the screenshot we just looked at, because this screenshot shows November 26, 2023, but then this screenshot here shows November 25th, 2023. And it's just a screenshot of Nano Redacted talking about work regarding Cinder's models. Nano states, I'm a free artist and I should do whatever I want to do. And Redacted agrees and reassures Nano, stating, I agree, you're a free artist and you should do what you want, but I was under the impression that taking on more Cinder work is what you wanted to do. I didn't think it was like we were making you do that. So Redacted agrees with Nano and explains his interpretation of the circumstances at that moment in time. And then in the next screenshot, which is a continuation of the convo on November 25th, 2023, Redacted literally apologizes to Nano, stating, I'm sorry you were under the impression we were trying to make you only do work for us. I will keep things more business talk and less emotional, lol. Just let me know how this will affect your schedule so I can tell Cinder after. Sorry for the stress, Nano. Redacted apologized and is willing to work with Nano's schedule. That's what I'm seeing here. And then in the next screenshot, under the section of It's Simply Business, you can see Redacted further reassuring Nano and understanding Nano's position, stating, it's okay, Nano. You're just making a living and making a name for yourself, and I can't blame you for accepting work from other big names in the industry and having very desirable talent. Redacted basically just complimented Nano and is understanding of Nano's position. And then in the next screenshot here, if you look here at 11:16 a.m., Redacted further enforces the idea of, Nano, you can do what you want, it's your life, is this message here. Nano, you're a freelance artist and Silver is a long-time client, so it makes sense to continue doing work for her. I understand the logistics of it. At the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you. Redacted is showing understanding and is encouraging Nano to do what's best for her interests. That's encouragement. And Nano even says, I really appreciate your understanding my side. In the next screenshot, Redacted states at 11:21 a.m., right, I know, I just didn't think our conversation sounded like I was trying to make you not work with her on a model. Like, Silver specifically. Like, Redacted here is clarifying things. And then we move on to the section of damage control. Now, the first screenshot here, if you look at the very end of it, you can see Redacted stating, we never want to make you feel like we're making you or forcing you to not work on something, especially if it's something you don't want to do. And our conversation the other day wasn't meant to convince you of only doing Cinder work. Again, sorry that it sounded to you like I was telling you to only do Cinder work. Redacted is clarifying. Redacted is also giving a choice to Nano for her to pursue her own interest if need be. Redacted is clarifying. And then next, we have a screenshot that suddenly jumps to November 19th, 2023, so it jumps back 6 days. And then in the next screenshot, it's July 19th, 2023, and it's Redacted talking about Silvervale here. And then the final screenshot, which is on May 10th, 2023, so we literally went back about 2 months and makes comments about Spite. So, with all that said, what does that mean? It means, no, Cinder and Redacted did not manipulate Nano. In those screenshots, we didn't see any type of manipulation as shown by Google, examples of manipulation. If anything, there was a lot of clarification, comforting, and reassurance. So again, no, Cinder and Redacted did not manipulate Nano. Now, with all that being said, all the sources I used for this video will be in the description below. I encourage you, the viewer, to go to the source so that way you can come to your own independent conclusion.